Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Plus, this is a big one. I got the tingles. This would be win 50. We start with pretty good stats. S7, HR, 8WJ7. Of course, you know, as much as I would love to say, like, I'd really love a challenge to make sure that this one is, you know, interesting. I'd really just love it if we walked into this room, picked up Mom's knife, and then the whole thing was a stomp. I'm not one of those guys, you know? I think most people are probably in the same boat here. But if my team's playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I don't want it to go to Game 7, quite frankly. I wouldn't mind if they just won it in 4 blowouts. If you want to win 4 games in a row, I hate to do it, but I think that was the play. If you wanna just win every game 5-1, by all means, don't let me stop you. Oh no, my excitement. You know, they ask people like how they feel about the Super Bowl. What do you hope for the Super Bowl this year? I just hope it's a good close game and the viewers at home have fun. Screw that! I've been supporting the Canucks through those 3 truly terrible years, where not only did they stink, but when it came time for the draft lottery, they stunk at that too and moved down every single year. Not that I'm complaining about the haul that we got, but still, I want them to crush. I want the Minnesota Wild fans at home to have absolutely no fun whatsoever. I want them to turn off their televisions in the first period. That would be a dream come true for me. I would tape it. I would pull a VCR out. I would go to Value Village, buy a VCR, and tape that so I could watch it back. I have a DVR built into my cable box. I would still tape it. I would get the VHS out. I didn't think you'd be able to shoot, honestly. So, don't forget about Sad Onion. The only thing is, this is not that bad, because our rate of fire and DPS is fine. It'll be a little bit of a long fight. If possible, I think no matter what, as long as we won't put ourselves in imminent danger from taking Sad Onion, we gotta take it. Tears Ups are like the currency of the world in this game. The Lira Franca. However, I also would much rather use a bomb to get it, because our Spirit Hearts are extremely precious right now. We've already lost 2 on this floor. Now, luckily, we gained 2, but still, you know, you get the idea. That is not HP, which would have been precious, nor is it something with bombs that would have been precious as well. Instead, that scared me. I thought I walked into some spikes. Instead, we gotta think about this one. Chariot, okay, there you go. So that's why you wait. Oh, but NL, if you hadn't waited, maybe you would have taken less damage on the floors or the rooms preceding this. Sure, okay, or maybe I would have taken the same amount of damage. See, 2 can play this game of, hey, there's like a potential fundamental flaw in your argument that we'll never be able to test. Maybe maybe I play worse with the higher rate of fire. As long as if we're doing any argument that has maybe involved, then, hey, maybe if I pick that up, my computer crashes because my power supply is overloaded. Oh, come on. My argument was reasonable, was it? Was it? Was it reasonable? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this one. It's still Monday. I gotta tell you, we've been having some terrible weather lately. I know I talked about it recently because I was like, I'd like to get out there and have some grilled hamburgers. Oh my god, dude. But it's been raining like crazy. I was getting a little negative about it because I'm like, you know, well, maybe it's not that negative, but I'm like, man, the summer's already like toasted a little bit because of COVID, obviously. And then after that, like, we're not even getting good enough weather to even, like, hang out on the, you know, like, our own little space of the outdoors. Then I looked at, or I saw something on the news that was like, here's how the BC wildfires looked, like, 2 years ago in June, and the whole province was on fire. And here's how they look now, and the whole province is, like, a beautiful shade of dark blue, which indicates, like, little to no infinitesimal fire risk. And I was like, you know what, I still would like to get out on the balcony. But at the same time, there's positives. There's positives. Hold on. I think we will probably buy a bomb. But I also think that maybe... Dude, and it's a long shot, but what if, like, PhD existed on this floor? What if PhD existed, we could buy it, we could get all those beautiful, health up, tears up, balls of steel, etc., etc. What if? We got a long way to go before we need to worry about that, though. But yeah, it's, you know, weather's been kind of trash, but so what? I'm still torn on whether I'm, like... Is this the ideal situation for all this stuff to... Or is it nice that all this stuff is happening at the same time? Or nice is really the wrong word. Is it better that all this stuff is happening at the same time? Or would we rather have it spread out? I don't know. I feel like if you're going to be inside almost all the time due to quarantine to begin with, that's probably also a fairly reasonable time. We'll buy that. I was hoping for a bomb, though. To... have terrible weather, and also to be expecting a child. It's like we weren't really going to be able to do that much anyway, so sure, rain away. And it's not like that guarantees that we'll get better weather in the future, but on the other hand, it does at least, I mean, oh, you're tiny. You're very tiny. And you took my whole spirit heart. Wow. Wowie. But, you know, the rain is good for the... It's good for Mother Nature out here. It's good for not having wildfires. So there's some big positives. Now, unfortunately, we got some big negatives with what we got going on here. We probably just have to accept we will not be able to take a deal with the devil. I actually really wish we bought Black Candle now. You know what I'm thinking? And we'll see how this shakes out. It's threat level Crimson. However, we could pick up... And again, I can't stress enough. I'm going to let this one percolate in the brain for a little bit. This is not something you want to make as an impulsive decision. We could take the tower, walk into fire on the shop. Blood Clot is just okay. Man, this would be a great situation to have not lost that Spirit Heart. And use the bombs from that on the donation machine and the other, the shopkeeper, of course, to give us a pretty good chance at Black Candle. That cannot be worth it. I don't really want to take these pills, though. I think this is a very dangerous position. We really didn't get anything from our item room on this floor because it was Dark Matter. Or Strange Attractor. Dark Matter is actually good. We didn't get anything from our shop except for a Spirit Heart, which I am admittedly happy to have. And then our boss gave us Blood Clot, which is okay, but this is like... We've hit a snag. So this is one where I think we played, for sure, the most conservative, like, possible approach here. And I do stand by it. It has worked for us on this streak. There was a nifty little line, but I have an innate bias lately against plays that are cute. Oh, that's so good. Against plays that are cute, but potentially dangerous. And I know, like, let me be honest, that's a play that's cute but dangerous, but it worked out. But it happens in Monster Train all the time. There's a card that's called Razor Sharp Edge. You apply it to a minion. So I'm just giving you the context if you don't watch Monster Train. But also, if you don't watch Monster Train, the series is a genuine slapper. I would highly recommend it. Of course I would. But I'm honest with you, too. Like, there's some stuff, I'm like, you don't need to watch every Northernlion tries. If you do, I really appreciate it. But you could wait, like, 3 days and see how the view counts shake out. You see one in, like, the high teens, don't watch it. That's non-essential most of the time. If you see one in the... you know, if it gets over like 30,000, go watch that one. That's a great episode. The people have spoken. But anyway, it gives 8 attack power at the cost of 2 health. So you play it on your minion loses 2 health, but they get 8 damage, which is really useful for a unit that has a lot of HP, or is not being hit, or gets to hit multiple times, and, you know, you're getting the general gist of it here. Every time I play it on stream, whenever I draw that card, I'm inundated with people that are like, you know, you can play that on an enemy, And if an enemy has 2 HP or less, it'll kill them. It's true, and it actually does have genuine uses. But I really think, maybe not most of the time, but if you like tunnel vision on that play, you're doing it because it's clever, not because it's actually good. You know? Sure, killing a unit that would have hit you for 9 is useful. But if that unit is going to die anyway, and you can weather the storm of the 9 damage, maybe it's more useful to just put it on your, like, 3x multi-strike unit. All of a sudden, they get 24 more damage against every enemy they're facing for the remainder of the game. You gotta be careful about cute plays. The ultimate cute play is en passant, you know, in chess. The idea that, alright. You could, if somebody moves their pawn 2 spaces, and it becomes adjacent to one of your pawns, you can capture it as if it had moved into the space that you're capturing towards. Honestly, like, a lot of the times, en passant is pretty okay in, don't take this the wrong way, and it's been a while since I studied any kind of chess theory, but en passant can be pretty good when you're playing against a novice, because usually they just don't know about the rule and make that move to protect their pawn, so when you take it, it leaves them in a terrible position. Now, this is a little bit of circular reasoning, but bear with me here. If a good player makes a move that puts them into en passant, they probably were aware of it, and instead taking the piece is unlikely to be that good. So I think Abaddon gives us 8 Spirit Hearts. So no matter what way we do this, if we take both, we're going to end up with 9. Doesn't matter what you take first. Actually, no, it doesn't matter what you take first in that case. No, it does, because if we do... Nope, I think I'm going cross-eyed again. Anyway, both of these are very good. Let's put it that way. We could try to respawn as Dark Judas, but I really... Well, I'm glad we didn't use that. Doesn't matter that we didn't use that. I'm really starting to believe in the power of HP, and we got a good thing. I mean, I would say this is win 50 in the bag right here. That's exciting stuff. We still don't have any bombs. Get me out of here, dude. And the reason I think I have a bias against the cute plays is because the cute plays are always what I looked for in Isaac, and it's not like they didn't work out. I don't want to like tarnish my previous legacy in Isaac. Oh, I only won 88% of the games. You know? I only won 11 out of 12. By the way, I understand 88 is a number, very dangerous connotations online. It's a number that pops in my head because it's also the year of my birth, which has made things very awkward in Twitch chat. As a kid, I always made fun of the people who were born in 1969. And I was like, wow, isn't that funny that for the rest of your life, anytime someone's like year of birth, you gotta be like, you gotta say 69? That's hilarious. Little did I realize the joke was on me. Anyway, moving on. This run, as is often the case in Isaac, you know, is come together in a big way. They didn't leave a Spirit Heart in there, and finally we've got some bombs. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is good stuff. Anyway, I always used to look for the fringe play in Isaac, and I mean, because Isaac is not that difficult to begin with, despite the amount that I complain about it, it usually works. But, again, I come back to that statistical revelation that is self-evident, but I had just never thought about it before. You know, if you can tighten... Oh, no. You really, for win 50, you wanted to give me both Strange Attractor and Isaac's Heart. You must have lost your mind. It's the only reasonable explanation. We should maybe stop taking these. But, you know, if you have a 98% chance to win the game, taking that up to a 99% chance to win the game, or to win the average game, I should say, doubles the expected length of your streak over a large enough sample size. Because instead of getting 2 losses, you might think you're going from 98 wins to 99, but you're not. What you're going from is 2 losses per 100 to 1 loss per 100. And I think by just tightening it up just a little bit, it's really allowed me to do some good stuff. I think the HP is like, is great stuff. It's the same way I feel, you know, we're not ranted here, but it's a very Monster Train heavy episode, apparently. When people are like, HP is just, you know, it's a resource. It's true. You should definitely, I think one of the most common, like, and I'm still pretty bad at card games, to be honest. Like in Magic, I just get bodied nonstop, which is why I don't play it, because, you know, Magic is a hobby where there's a lot to like. I genuinely think Magic the Gathering is one of the best, you know, designed and, like, evergreen games that I've ever played. The fact that it's still going strong like 30 years after its existence, I think is you know, proof of that. However, being bad at Magic is basically like spending an awful lot of money and all of your Friday nights just to not really have that much fun. Sometimes people go, hey, losing is still fun. But those are usually the people who win like 2/3 of their games. Or they're like playing Commander. If you're playing Standard and you're losing, nobody's having a good time. Oh, I get it. Siege Elephant, Siege Elephant. Oh, Gideon gets another loyalty token. Okay. My basic principle for where I was at in Magic the Gathering is, it shouldn't cost me this much money or this much time to feel bad. And also the bathrooms smell terrible, but that's a different story. We don't need to get into that. We'll think about this. I think, and I'm going all the way here, I don't think you take Guppy, dude. I think you take your 1 rate of fire and get the heck out of here. It's a little too late for me to start being like, you know, Guppy's the name of the game. I'm a changed man. Now, what we lack in Isaac zaniness, I think that there's some counterintuitiveness there that's worth mentioning. The less openly destructive or self-destructive we are in Isaac, I honestly think the better the commentary can get. Why were you so fast? Because I'm less, there's less situations where I have to focus 100% on never taking damage again, and more situations where I'm like, hey, look at this, let's have a little bit about Magic the Gathering, a game that I can speak confidently about despite not having played it in like 3 years. This might be controversial. I really think that Magic is one of those games where the online version is far superior. Well, I'll be incredibly controversial, maybe. As far as controversial as you can be about board games. I think Monopoly is the best board game ever. I'm joking. I can't stand by that. It's pretty bad. However, so now that I've softened the blow, I think in almost every circumstance, a proper digital adaptation of a board game is superior to the real thing. And there's a variety of reasons. You do lose the in-person social element, for sure. But you can still get on Discord. I mean, that hasn't stopped us, you know? So there's element 1. I have been to my item room, right? Dude, we're going so fast. Too fast, maybe? I'm going to take this as a sign that we're good to go. Where was I going with this? Okay, so step 1, you do lose the social element, sure. However, and let me hit you with one more negative. Everybody has to buy the game to play it online, unless you're doing tabletop sim or something like that. And that is a negative, but I also do want to say that most of the time, like a digital adaptation of a board game is like $10, or you can get Ticket to Ride for free on Xbox Game Pass, or like for $3 because it's been on sale forever. Whereas buying like a boxed edition of Ticket to Ride is like $100 cost to the person who buys it. So I think it comes out in the wash on that one. But then the second thing, I don't know if Ticket to Ride is $100, but it's probably like 60 Canadian. On top of that, they have tutorials. It's just a tutorial is a superior way to learn a game over a situation that's like, you know, one person reading an encyclopedia to you, and then you have to remember like every edge case, you know? So I think that that's a big element. And then I really think the other scaffolding that these like digital versions provide is really nice. Like, for example, automatic rule enforcement. You know, they won't let you do something that's illegal in the game because it's not programmed to be able to be done in the first place. And similarly, you never have people going, you know, well, rarely do you have people going, oh, is it my turn? You know, it pops up a big banner on your screen that says your turn. Maybe it even gives you a turn timer or something like that. And then on top of that, you don't have to do setup. You don't have to do teardown. And it doesn't take up space in your house. Now, I got a lot of board games. Just like looking behind me. I don't know, I probably got like 30 board games behind me. This is not a joke. If you watch other videos of mine, like we got a decent board game collection. I like playing physical board games. But I also am like, dude, a digital board game, I love it. It's a beautiful thing. The other thing is like, you know, I'm not anti-social. We maybe would have been, / definitely would have been better off taking the pony there. But like when I want to leave something, I want to like be done. I don't want to be like, okay, goodbye. Oh, but wait, you know, what about this? You know, I don't like that. And I would much rather be in a situation where it's like, you know what? Hey, you want to get together and play Clank? We don't have to organize like a place to meet, or we're going to come to your place. Oh, traffic's bad today. You know, you just sign on to Discord. And then, you know, you play 2 games of Clank and you're done. You don't have to be like, sure, I'll play another one. And then just like be bored. You're just like, you know what, I'm out. I mean, I'm not arguing against physical board games. I think that's oftentimes the position. If you're like, oh, I like this thing better. People are like, oh, so the other thing isn't good at all, I guess? No, obviously that's not what I'm saying. The only thing that isn't good at all is Monopoly, as previously hinted at. But if you give me the choice, if you were like, do you want to have a physical board game day or a digital board game day? I would much rather, and this is for real, I would much rather do the digital. Even if nobody had anything else going on that day. Like, you got people coming over for board games, you gotta like, you know, I mean, because we're in our 30s now, or I'm in my 30s, my wife's in her late 20s, we gotta tidy the house, you know, we gotta wait for people to like, you know, get the hint that we want them to leave, and then they leave, you know, we gotta, oh, should we order a pizza? I don't know, I'm not really feeling pizza, oh, I don't eat any vegetables, oh, I only eat vegetables, you know, we don't have to go through any of that, everybody's eating their own thing. And then again, the cleanup is literally like, I'm done, see you later, you alt F4 the game. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I really like digital versions of board games. There is something about the tactile nature, feeling the pieces, the weight of the pieces in your hand. Some board games are also like, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say they're like art pieces, but you know, they have really interesting visual designs when you're playing them. And sometimes the digital versions look a little flat for sure. But like, look, I would rather roll physical dice than digitally roll dice. However, would I rather digitally roll dice and not have to clean up a game with 300 individual pieces? I think I'd rather roll the digital dice and not have to do the cleanup. That's also like, and again, we're gonna get a little controversial. You know, I'm a bastion of nerd culture, don't get me wrong. Just remember, I'm the guy who's like, I'd rather play solitaire than skydive. So don't throw me out with the trash, okay? But I'm like, not that big of a fan of board game cafes and like pubs. I've been to several. There's several good ones in Vancouver. I don't mind them. Like if you're like, hey, do you want to go to the bar or would you rather go to the board game bar? I'd rather go to the board game bar, for sure. But hold on. We got lucky on that take, but it's pretty good. Which I guess is how we got lucky in the first place. But it's always nice. Like when you first get there and you pick a game and you play, it's a lot of fun. And then they go, do you want any drinks? And you go, yeah, I'll take one of these. And then can we get maybe some sweet potato fries to share? And then the problem starts. You got the board games take up the whole freaking table. And then you got 4 drinks and 2 appetizers. And then somebody's like, I feel like getting a pizza. And then they get a pizza. It comes out on a big tray. They bring out 4 plates so you can share the pizza, even though the person who ordered it is going to eat the whole thing, and I wouldn't dare impose by asking them for a slice. If I wanted something, I would have ordered it myself. And all of a sudden, like, to play the game, you know, you've got, like, your own board game on the table. It's like, how am I going to still be able to see the board and also hold my cards without them getting greasy? And also, oh, it's my turn. Sorry, I was looking at the game, which is on TV right now. I find it, I wouldn't, like, it's not a bad experience. I'm not trying to be, like, the ultimate boomer. Hello, Ruka. But I'm like, I would rather just be playing, like, like nothing. You know what I mean? I would rather just be, like, eating. But if we're just gonna eat, why do we come to the board game cafe where the sweet potato fries are 12 bucks? Because they gotta justify, you know, replacing their, Cards Against Humanity game every 6 months because somebody spilled a Coors Light on it. Yes, that was a joke at Cards Against Humanity's expense. Was a thinly veiled joke at Cards Against Humanity's expense. It's true. I apologize. Anyway, I'm not against them. I'm just saying. I do think, I'm out of bar culture. You know, I'll have a beer or a whiskey or something at home or something like that, but I'm definitely not like, oh, we gotta go to that place. They got a karaoke machine, right? But if from a retired goer, it would be nice if they could make that side of the culture more interesting, right? Because, like, what do we got? I mean, it's different in other parts of the world. I was stunned when we were in New York for Champions of Fire. We went to a bar, and they had pool tables is pretty standard. But they had pool tables, arcades, skee ball machines. They had, like, all this. Hey, Ruka, get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. You don't get to open my filing cabinet. I got important documents in there. What are you going to do with them? You're a cat. In Canada, there's basically, like, 3 kinds of bars. There's, like, Irish pub, and they really are all Irish pubs. They kind of just, like, merge all of the British Isles together. They're like, it's an Irish pub called, like, McLaughlin's, and also we sell Boddingtons on tap, you know? Like, that's... It's like it's got a little British, a little Irish, and a little Scottish all in one. It's like we got fish and chips. We also got Scotch eggs. And a potato stew. It's always a potato stew. And those are like, you know, what's the attraction? It's cozy, but also live music. Live music is like as exciting as it gets in a Canadian pub. There's nothing, and I'm like super negative, but like, I don't mind live music if I know that there's going to be live music. But if I, you know, sit down in a place and all of a sudden I hear an amp turn on to like 170 decibels while I'm just trying to eat like a chicken Caesar salad, I'm like, oh no, here we go again. And then it's always like, born and raised in South, and I'm like, come on. We're at an Irish, Scottish, English pub. You're playing Don't Stop Believing by Journey. And then one Dropkick Murphy song. It's outrageous. This is brutality. Hold on, we gotta focus. It's getting a little spicy here. Not too spicy, to be honest, but... And then there's clubs, which I just is like the live music problem, but... And again, I'm not looking down on clubs. They're just like very much not for me. Is it my enduring memory of being inside clubs is like the air is 300% humidity because everyone's drunk and sweaty, and the body heat makes it like the air is cloudy, and then the bass from the music pushes the clouds like into you, so you're constantly being hit like smacked in the face by a warm wet towel. And then there's just like a bar where it's just like, I don't know what you do here except sit. Those are the 3 that we got, and sometimes those have TVs. That's about it. They could make them a little cooler. Like, we got some places in Vancouver that have tried, but I don't know if there's like legislation or something like that. But there's this hip spot that is like insanely busy, and also sometimes you get smacked in the face with the warm, wet towel of the club atmosphere. But I thought it was cool when it opened, because it was like, we got arcade machines. And I was like, that's pretty sick. They have like 4 arcade machines, and there's like 300 people inside. I'm not saying you need 1 per person, but like the ratio's all screwed up. And they also have a DJ. It's like, you know how it is. It could, I'm telling you, a skee ball table will go a long way. BC is, in some ways, a province of hypocrisy. You know, it's like there's an enormous and apparent like substance abuse issue here, but simultaneously they're like, we can't let you have a beer in the park, because if you had a beer in the park, we got to arrest you. You might be enjoying yourself too much. But let's just leave it at that. We already talked about it ad nauseum in Dark Souls 2. Hey, get away from here. This is my purse. I don't know you. So again, we're gonna win. Great time for the wafer to show up. Truly a pivotal time for the wafer to show up. But a very, very solid, very, very fast run, and it came together. I don't know, we may have never had a single red heart container on this whole run. That very, very, very rarely happens when you're not Blue Baby. But there's very little to complain about as well. This one was pretty above average from start to finish, and that Abaddon Judas Shadow room really just pulled it together. Great stuff. That's 50 wins. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya.